Hi, I'm the Scrub and you're here for one reason. You want to change your pace from Stone Vigil and really dislike the colour grey, and since you currently live in a basement, you would prefer the scenery of a cave. Well, look no further than Dzemael Darkhold. Yes, the first D is silent, and it can be unlocked by talking with this dude in the first door on the right of the Dragonhead settlement in Kurth's Central Highlands. Now, this dungeon has apparently had a facelift on recent changes, but do not despair, your dungeon descriptions is delighted to draw in the discourse for your dynamic desires. Time to learn about Dzemael Darkhold. Simplified. Few quick side notes. This guide is not a full clear. We shall be ignoring the optional rooms that you can access by standing in the first glowing circles of the opening few pools. And there's also a giant floating eye roaming around the first part of the dungeon. You cannot damage it, but yet it can damage you. Just be aware that at times it will throw out a large untelegraphed 1000 damage circular AoE. Just make sure you keep up the healing when it's around. Now with the first pull, if you're still learning to tank, learning to heal, or not truly confident in your own abilities, you can split the first pull up into two parts. But if you are confident in your party's abilities, have appropriate gear for the dungeon, and have completed all your job quests so you have all of your buttons ready, you can pull everything like your healer owes you money. No matter which way you decide to do the pulls, when you decide to stop pulling, everyone will want to stand in the blue crystal auras. This is a crystal veil, and it greatly reduces your damage taken, but please still use cooldowns because your healer will thank you. And if you avoid the AoEs thrown out by the mobs without going outside the boundaries of the crystal's veil, you will be totally fine. After everything in the final room has been killed, as a group you will need to stand in the white circles floating above the ground. These circles have timers that will unlock the door to the boss room and go faster when you stand in them as a group rather than standing in them on your own. When doing the white circle in the middle of the room, just make sure the healer will always keep you topped up when the floating eye hits its large damaging AoE. You only need to do this with the final two white circles in the final room to open up the boss room. First boss time. When the boss is outside of the crystal's veil, it is invulnerable. After it becomes targetable, the tank will need to use Provoke and bring it to the crystal's veil. This will allow the DPS to smack that ass like it's a strip club at 2 AM while the tank will dodge AoEs brought out by the eye. Every so often there'll be a duo of ads that spawn. These aren't really hard to burn down at all, just make sure that you focus them. After a short amount of time, the chat will give out a message that the crystal has begun to dim. This is the tank's cue to move to the next crystal before the crystal loses all its power and the boss becomes invulnerable again. Now it doesn't really matter which crystal you move to, just as long as you're in one and are able to hit the boss. After defeating the eye, move through the magic transporter to the next area. You can double pull the next few packs, but they can get spicy if you don't have relevant cooldowns up, and there are no crystals in this area to help you. Just make sure that you have your AoEs handy and are ready to burn down the mobs as fast as possible, as accidental aggro can lead to a quick wipe. Also have to be aware of the orange crystals along the path. They give out small AoEs, but they are telegraphed, so just make sure that you are away from them when they explode. Also, during one of the double pulls, the tank can go slightly around the corner to lure the distance mobs within melee range to grip up the enemies better to AoE. Second boss time. Now the boss will only do cone AoEs in front and behind him. Make sure you dodge the AoEs and burn the boss down. After a short time, he'll call upon his brothers to give out some unavoidable single target damage and also have small AoE circles on the ground to avoid. Move through the magic teleporter after defeating him. After moving to the next section, there are a few groups of mobs and a patrol of skeletons. Kill everything and then make sure as a group you go into the white floating circles to unlock the next part of the dungeon. These circles are deliberately in the AoEs the exploding crystals, so healers just need to be aware of that. Now you can double pull the next pack, kill everything, and you're at the final boss. This boss does instant cleaving tank busters and instant AoEs around him without warning. Just watch out for these and don't stand with the tank. After a short time, the boss will become invulnerable, turn to the left, and target the crystal with a tether. While he's tethered to the crystal, he will also select one player at random to do a straight line AoE at their location, which is marked with these crosshairs. You'll need to dodge this straight line AoE a few times depending on how long it takes to destroy the crystal. Now the boss will repeat this for the middle and right crystals respectively. After the final crystal is destroyed, he will place dark puddles on the ground under every player. These will cause a small explosion and a bleeding debuff if you walk in them. At this point, you really should be able to avoid the rest of the AoEs, use the limit break, and get the boss down. Congratulations, you have beaten D's nuts. My name is The Scrub, thank you for watching.